Hi. So I wanted to do another page from the Reader's Notebook with you guys. It's page 28 if you picked up your notebook from school. If not, I'll attach a copy of the page in Seesaw and you can just do it there. So the title of this page is Short Eye, Long Eye, and all of the words are short eye or long eye, but the skill that goes along with it is really context based. That is why I wanted to practice this with you. Just to make sure we at least address short eye and long eye. Short eye sounds like it, and long eye says its name. So skill, skill, that's a short eye. Blind, I'm sorry, that doesn't say blind, it says build. That's another short eye. Grind, though, grind, long eye. Grind, okay? Brick, short or long? That's short. It didn't say its name. Flight, and that word, the I, says I, flight, that's a long I. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to read the paragraph that they give, and we're going to replace what they put in bold with these words. And there's quite a few words, which is kind of what makes it a little bit of a challenge, okay, especially if you're doing this all by yourself. So here we go. As I walk through the zoo, I repeat to myself, visit the monkey house. So she's repeating to herself. Like when I do that, it's because I'm trying to remember something probably. So I think a word that would go with repeat to myself would be remind. And remind is all the way over here. So that went with number 1. Okay? Here we go. Number 2. It is made of glass and hard clay block. Well, what word do we have that means hard clay block? So we're talking about what a building is made of. That would be a brick. There was a damp coolness in the old monkey house. So damp and cold, what word do we have that goes with damp and cold? I think chill would work. Now the monkeys reside in a comfortable environment. So they're saying the old place was kind of a little bit wet and cold, not super comfortable. Now they reside in a comfortable environment. Well, reside must have to do with where they are or where they live. Okay? Live. Took me a second to find it. Okay. There is a trench between the trees and the glass that separates visitors from the monkeys. So if you've been to a zoo, you know, you're probably familiar with exhibits that look like this, where the people are right here, and then there's a trench. Well, a trench is sort of like a hole, but it's long, okay? And another word for that is ditch. As I stand outside the glass, I give a loud breath when I don't see any monkeys. A loud breath. Kind of upset, like exasperated, disappointed. Sigh. Okay. I am about to conclude that the monkeys are not in their new home yet. Well, she's looking for the monkeys. She doesn't see them. The conclusion is they're not there yet. So it's like a thought that has come to her head. I think decide works pretty well. It's not 6, it's 7. Okay. When I look up in the trees, the monkeys look down at me and smile with happiness. What word do we have? Delight. Delight could mean happiness. Smile with delight. I can't wait to tell my family about my zoo visit when we have dinner this evening. Well, this evening, the evening that is coming, another way to say that is tonight. Okay? So hopefully that's a help. I'll go back through them real quick. Remind, brick, chill, live, ditch, sigh. 7 was decide, 8 was delight. Now for the challenge, they say write some rules that visitors to a zoo might need to follow, and they give you the words. Ignorant, which means not knowing about. Recognize, which means to see and know. Advice is when someone tells you what they think you should do, right? If someone's giving you advice, they're telling you what they think the best thing to do would be. Twilight is the end of the day when it's getting dark. Dusk is another word for that. And then rigid is like kind of stiff, hard. Okay. So we need to write some rules that a visitor might need to follow. Okay, so I'm going to start with ignorant. If I'm at a zoo, something that I do not want to be ignorant of are the animals. The animals, and some of them, you know, if I put myself in a bad situation, they could be dangerous. So ignorant is not a thing you want to be. I would say do not be ignorant of the dangers animals might create. Okay, so like if I stick my hand in the cougar cage, I'm being kind of ignorant. That cougar could hurt me, and I should have probably seen that coming. So if I do that, that's an ignorant thing to do. Okay, recognize. Recognize. See and know. Recognize. Recognize that the cages are there for your safety, maybe, you know? Recognize that cages and fences are in place for your safety, right? That fence that the cougar has is actually there to keep me safe, and I should not be ignorant and cross that safety barrier. Okay. Advice. Advice. So I'm writing rules. Rules are advice, right? Follow the advice on all zoo signs. There's probably a sign that says, keep your hand out of the cougar cage, and you should follow that advice. Twilight. Twilight. So some animals, I know some animals like to come out at twilight, like especially deer. That's when they really start moving around. But zoos are not usually open at twilight. So we might say something like, come at twilight to see animals feeding. Another zoo might have a rule like, please leave by twilight. That's when we close. More likely. And then rigid. Rigid. You could say something like, be careful on the fences, the rigid fences. Be careful climbing rigid fences. you could get hurt. The ridge is something that is stiff, usually kind of sharp, usually kind of could hurt you. So that's the challenge that goes along with that.